Hello again. Despite all those legends about marvellous kingdoms which once existed in Africa, when the British began colonising parts of that continent in the 19th century, they found dreadful, squalid conditions. There was no medicine or understanding of what caused disease, no literacy, no schools, not even carts with wheels. The British had to start from scratch and then teach those they encountered about absolutely everything. There were terrible things going on, such as human sacrifices and slavery, and the British had to fight to put a stop to those things at the same time that they were teaching the Africans how to read and write and getting them to boil water so that they and their children wouldn't get sick. It was a long and uphill struggle. Eventually, after a century or so, things were getting pretty good for those living in the British colonies in sub-Saharan Africa. Then came a lot of agitation and trouble from the Soviet Union and various communist and fellow travellers, and the people were stirred up to such an extent that they decided that they wanted to get rid of the people who had taught them all those useful skills which would improve their lives immeasurably, and to go it alone. Those colonies, places like Nigeria and Tanganyika, were of no benefit economically to the British. They were not profitable concerns. After the end of the Second World War, when we were told that nobody wanted us there anymore, the British packed their bags and left. By the early 1960s, this process was almost complete. As soon as we had gone, those countries reverted to type, and unbridled savagery was the order of the day. Nigeria is a typical instance of what happened. It has oil fields, loads of minerals, a brilliant climate for agriculture, and many other advantages. We left in 1960, and Nigeria could have become a successful country. In 1966, there were 2 coups, and then the following year, the Civil War began. Older viewers might remember the Biafran War and the terrible famine which followed. Millions of people died. Since then, there's been a succession of coups and military takeovers. Then came Boko Haram, a Wahhabi Islamist group. The massacres and bloodshed has run into many tens of thousands of murders. Nigeria is in a dreadful state since independence, and that is why so many Nigerians come to this country. After begging for independence on the grounds that they could run their country every bit as well as the British managed to do, they've trashed it, and now that their own country is wrecked, they want to come to our country and see if they can do any better here. On top of that, they're claiming that we owe them money for civilising them. And we, like the lily-livered buffoons that we are these days, are preparing to hand over the cash that they are asking for. There is, I believe, a vulgar expression which might have been coined for this situation, although I cannot quite bring it to mind. It is about taking the something.